and it's killing me.
Welcome back to the Steve Patterson Projecttt. Here we are in the first week of May, so I guess I should start by saying, Mayo the Ciso de Mayo be with you. I hope I got them all right. Welcome back to our virtual audience who are here again. Some of them keep coming back week after week since we deliver exactly what you pay for. We begin this week in Lethbridge, Alberta, because no other show says that. Wait, there's actually more. A waitress at the Cocoa Vanilla Galactic Cantina was dressed in a stormtrooper outfit with a replica Star Wars blaster, serving customers in the parking lot to celebrate May the 4th, as you do. Unfortunately, though, some residents who I guess aren't big Star Wars fans and must have thought it was someone from BC who had taken an Albertan's job, called the police, who showed up with guns drawn and ordered her to get on the ground. The unfortunate waitress didn't comply, likely because she'd been getting orders wrong all day. So they tackled her to the ground and gave her a bleeding nose. True story. Afterwards, the police said they were just doing their jobs, apparently viewing themselves as Jedis. But now, they will likely face lawsuits or even worse, a visit from the waitress's boss. Speaking of evil empires, Air Canada told investors that in the first quarter of 2020, they lost over $1 billion and my guitar. Actually, that last part didn't make it into their financial report, but they did lose my guitar. They say that it will take them years to recover after this pandemic is over, or 1 week once they start charging for everyone's emotional baggage. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good airline joke. Don't you groan at me, Virginia. Author Stephenie Meyer has announced that after 13 years, she's finally releasing her latest Twilight book on August 4th. So if you wanted to hunker down with a good book, you will still have to find one. In response to a request from the Canadian agri-food industry for $2.6 billion in emergency funding, Prime Minister Trudeau announced $252 million in funding, which shows that when you make a written request for money, you need to be sure you put the decimal in the correct place. It's a math joke, not a big math crowd. In South Korea, the new pro baseball season began this week with players playing in front of empty stadiums. Other sports leagues and sports fans will be watching closely to see how it goes, but they should be warned not to get their hopes up because South Korean baseball is as boring as all other forms of baseball. In non-boring news, and perhaps more proof that we are now living in the end times, a new threat has awoken in North America. Murder hornets. Oh, there they are. Murder hornets. Sorry, alleged murder hornets. It hasn't been proven yet. The murder part. They are confirmed to be hornets.
Yes.
These 2 inches of pure arsehole, which was my exotic dancer name in university, by the way, can destroy an entire hive of honeybees in minutes by decapitating them. Great. So an insect with the MO of a ninja and the temperament of Cersei Lannister is now on the loose, just as we are being given the go-ahead to cautiously go outside. I get it, Mother Nature. We've screwed you over nonstop, and now if we try to go out again, you will murder us. Allegedly. And finally this week, back to work protests, or end the lockdown, if you will, were flaring up all across the world, and even some in Canada this week. Though there weren't many protesters, some of them were as loud as they could be and had some well-made signs. It is important to remember that they do not speak for many or all Canadians. Here to present his point of view is the president of the Never Go Back to Work Canada Foundation, John Steinberg.
Thanks, Steve. You know, when you first invited me to appear on this program, I was concerned because it sounded kind of like work. But then I found out I wouldn't be getting paid. And that sounded less like work and more like something I just don't want to do.
Okay. Well, thank you for overcoming that and doing this anyway, John.
I guess. Anyhow, I wasn't always a guy who doesn't want to go back to work. At one point, I was a guy who was at work.
Yes. I assumed that was how it works. Yes.
That's how it doesn't work.
Okay. Semantics. So, what was it? Can you tell us what you used to do?
I was a stand-up comedian. They used to make me entertain rooms full of drunk people. And you would assume that's the worst job in the world. But since I've started this organization, I found out there's jobs even worse than that.
Really? Okay. Okay. I guess I imagine there are people with worse jobs than stand-up comedian. Yes.
They're called clowns, Steve. Basically like comedians, except they entertain rooms full of sober people and kids.
John, I have to say there are worse jobs than being a clown.
I guess there's rodeo clowns.
All right. Do you have anything else to say before we go, John?
I didn't have anything to say when we started.
Excellent point. Okay, that was John Steinberg, everyone, telling us why he may never go back to work. And that is our monologue for this week. Thanks very much to John Steinberg and, of course, our virtual audience for joining us again. Thank you so much one more time for not being here. We hope to see you next week.
Thank you.
And it's killing me.